So my neighbor asked me to give him a ride to a juice bar, and I said, you know where I want to go with you one day is the chocolate factory. And it's called the Chocolate Tree. I'm thinking of Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. And he just wanted to, I didn't mean today, but he just wanted to go do some figuring on his own. And then he says, you know what, drop me off at the chocolate factory. And I thought, okay, it's kind of where I wanted to go today. And I dropped him off, and then I saw a parking spot right, it was like I was trying to pull around, and there's never a parking spot. This place is packed. And I thought, I'm going to the Chocolate Tree. So, because I remember a dog being in the garden here before. And so I went in and I asked, I said, hey, fancy meeting you here, as I passed my neighbor. And I said, am I allowed to bring a dog in? And they said, sure, as long as they're well behaved and quiet. Bea, come here. He took her for a run this morning, so he's sitting over there somewhere. She wants to go see him. But I found this little magical spot underneath the bamboo and in the trees. And I'm in a hammock. I'm like, I need to get one of these. I was looking at it. It just hangs from the tree, and I've got beautiful trees in my yard. So this is as social as I seem to get. You know, he sets himself down in the midst of all these people, but I set myself in a garden. And Bea can be here with me. So I thought I'd show you guys my special little hangout. She's moving me around. There's seashells set in the rocks. So it just kind of shows you what you can do with your space. Jacob has, my neighbor, he's got this little garden that's completely fenced in with like a 10-foot bamboo fence. And I said, if this was my garden, it would be like this, a magical garden. I'd put bamboo, if I couldn't plant it, I'd put it in pots. And I thought, I've got the most magical front garden right now with the juniper trees. So I'm gonna look for a hanging hammock. I've seen them before at the Goodwill. So I'm putting an order in. I'd like one like this because I can completely, look at this, you can completely encapsulize inside of it. I'm completely supported and I'm swinging. Look at her hanging out over there. So she gets to come. This is pretty magical. And I've got a couple of decks. Would you like to have a message? I'll give you a message from this deck. It's a smaller one. I can use one hand while I do it. So think of a question or think of nothing. Just open your mind and be willing to hear Spirit's message from the secret garden in the chocolate factory. Okay, ready? Venus. Wonderful. Venus is the goddess of love. So Venus is a Roman goddess of grace and love called Aphrodite by the Greeks. She evolved from an early Italian nature goddess, a bringer of spring blooms and vines. It's kind of where we're at, right? Spring. The goddess of desire, a goddess of growth and beauty of nature. Venus was the irresistible personification of both physical and spiritual love. She gave her name to the second planet of dawn and dusk, as did her sister goddess Iana, Sumeria, and Ishtar, Babylonia. The story of Venus's birth tells how she arose naked from the sea, the source of all life, primordial creation, and a symbol of both the collective consciousness and eternity. It's a wonderful image for the emergence of a young woman into her full femininity. Venus is a striking affirmation of the love of beauty and the love of pleasure of the senses. So I am laying back in this, and I'm literally laying in here, which is so cool. And that's what I want to look at. I don't want to look at people. I don't want to hear people. I want to look at nature, and I want to connect to nature. And I'm off the ground, so I'm completely supported by this tree. And that's a message to me. And whenever I rhyme, that's higher self kicking in. So I am completely supported by this tree. When I was trying to figure out what I was going to do and where I was going to land, as far as a place to stay here in Sedona, when everything was so up in the air, I went to the trees. It's always been the trees for me. I grew up in the trees. I grew up in the forest. So I saw this beautiful tree near the stupa on the medicine wheel, and I went up to her and I just hugged her. And as I hugged her, I just cried and released, and I said, you need to find me. You need to hold on to me. And I realized that, no, I needed to hold on to the tree. The tree was already holding me. We're already supported. So risen from the sea, Venus is a guide through the stormy and calm waters of our physical desires and emotions. So think about the emotional waters of your life right now. I needed to do this. I shut my work line off. Jacob said, can you drop me off somewhere? And at first I was to pick him up and then drop him off. And I thought, yeah, my phone's not ringing right now. I did a few calls this morning. And I said the chocolate tree, this is the garden. This is what my intention was. And so this is where I am, hanging, being supported by the trees, embracing the beauty of my senses. I saw beautiful shapes in the clouds that were going by. I saw an eagle flying, and then I saw a whale. The eagle is great spirit. The whale is reminding you to follow your soul's path. And I sat down. As soon as I sat down in this garden, listen to the music. I could cry right now. I belong here. I love it here. It's so majestic and peaceful at the same time. This is exactly what my soul needed. And my best friend can come with me. She's got a garden to sniff around. When she calms down after sniffing everything, she can lay down in the sun and enjoy it. I do have another deck here. It's a big deck. It's a Sedona deck. It's hard for my hands to hold it. So let's see what happens with this deck. I'll move the little one out of my way. I'm glad I came here. I'm glad this is where he wanted me to drop him off, because this is where I wanted to be. So isn't that interesting? I wanted to be here, and I suggested this is a place that we should go one day, and then I thought, no, this is a place that we should go today. Correct for neutrality on all levels. What's the message for all of us? Goddess of the earth. Well, isn't that apropos? Goddess of the earth. So there you see her. Now, when you look at that right away, you may not see her. It's just a splash of color. But there she is. It's kind of like me. If you looked in this garden, you wouldn't see me right away. It's just a splash of color. But there she is. Relaxing, breathing in the beauty of nature. This is where I come to get grounded. Let's see what I think I have this deck. I don't use it. Oh, I do have this deck. How interesting. I probably should bring it out, shouldn't I? So Goddess of the Earth. So you think about getting grounded, right? So let me read this to you while you look around. Medicine baby, stand strong for the land with the strength of the oak, grounded deep and reaching high, pulling down the golden cloak. She is mother and she is crying. I'm afraid she's dying, and I am that I am. I will do what I can. So it talks about us being guardians of the earth. We can't have our gardens die. Our gardens die, we die. We were made caretakers of this planet and the residents of it. So the goddesses in each corner of the painting, Medicine Baby, represent the races and elements of creation. The goddess here holding the pole for Earth is African. That's this goddess right here. She's holding the pole of creation, and she's African. She's blowing out her energy. She embraces the tree as she sends her rhythmic soul energies into the center of creation. Together they all send their energies to unite, creating intentions for the new Earth. This small planet is our only home. We have a critical crisis on our planet Earth, and humanity faces enormous challenges for the survival of our species. If we are to survive on this planet, this home of ours, each of us needs to experience a vivid sense of selflessness. There's a lot of selfishness. We need to exhibit selflessness. A sacred understanding of all life is needed, our collective allegiance and intent for love and healing to serve and support. Cultivating a deep connection with Mother Nature and our inner nature activates our intuition, our feminine wisdom, which is the missing ingredient for the left brain world in which we exist. A social environment that has mostly mind and so little heart. When asked what the most important thing we can do for the healing of the planet, Thich Nhat Hanh replied, to hear within ourselves the sound of the earth crying. Hear her cries inside of you, share these feelings, and bring them into an honorable consciousness, your deep eternal connection with the earth. This is a time to plant new seeds in soil that is humble, as well as cultivate those already sprouting. As you replenish yourself, you naturally replenish your Earth Mother. You are the Earth Goddess. The Earth Goddess has come to remind you of your relationship between the tribes of human souls, your heart, and your connection to the Earth. It's time to reconnect with the Earth. Cultivate the strength and sense of your existence. The magic of this connection will enhance your spiritual and material resources. So when my phone doesn't ring, it means, because I work online, so when my phone doesn't ring, that means get outside, connect to the Earth. And what was the last message? When you do this, it will enhance your resources, everything that you need. But we need to recognize and appreciate what we have. I'm not in Sedona to sit at a work desk inside all day long and not experience this. I'm to experience the energy of Sedona, which is this beautiful music playing and the gentle conversations of people that are happy, peaceful, and obviously very spiritual, as this is the environment they've chosen. To sit in a place where my dog is welcome to come in the garden and enjoy this as well. This is going to enhance my physical being. It's going to enhance my vibration, which ultimately enhances everything in my life, people around me, people that I connect to, and my business. Because when I'm vibing at a high, happy, positive frequency and I'm relaxed and peaceful, the energy that I draw in is amazing, and the energy that I emit is amazing, and my connection to highest self is extremely clear. This feels so good. 10 minutes of sun on your face a day. This little tree, look at this. I can spin myself around. I love the bare branches, and I love the bright green branches. I love everything about this. And I'm weightless right now. I'm giving all of my concerns to the tree, and the tree's holding me. I said to that tree, hold me here. And they are, aren't they? If you're at a fork in the road, ask yourself, where does your heart feel alive? Where do you feel like you expand? If you're at a fork in the road, get into nature and make your decisions there. And then branch out. I'll let you go. 12 minutes and 20 seconds we've been speaking. I'll let you go. Have a beautiful day. I've enjoyed being with and sharing this space with you. Peace.